with Coca-Cola, the drink of togetherness.
It's the World Cup special on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. It's really good to be back with you once again. And with me I have Farveez Maharoof, back after a long time. Where have you been?
It's been a long time, Roshan. 2 months. Good to be back.
I'm asking you, where have you been?
I was part of the under-19 setup as a manager.
That's where he's been. Then Ruwan Kalpage is back again after that break. So we're going to talk about the World Cup. And I really don't know what to talk about the World Cup in terms of Sri Lanka, because it's been raining. Now, 2 games being washed out, gentlemen, and Sri Lanka is going to play Australia the next time. Now, my question to both of you, who's been there, how is it going to happen? Because you don't play cricket for a while. It's important that you have so much of hours in the middle and not in the nets. How will it impact Sri Lanka? I'll start with Ruwan. What are your thoughts?
Yes, it will be tough for us. I mean, when you 10 days and you are going to play a match especially against Australia, and we have in the past we have not played other than the '96 World Cup. Yes. We have not played against them very well. So I think plus point is we have nothing to lose. We have to win now. The next 5 games are very important for us. So we have to play positive.
Absolutely. I think positive is the way to go. But Maha, look at the practical side. I mean, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka would have been fancying their chances a little bit more. Now you're playing Australia, one of the tournament favourites. So if you look at the situation, you come in against tournament favourites. You haven't been playing cricket for a while. How will that impact the team?
I think the guys will be itching to get to the grounds, first of all. I mean, if you look at Australia, they have played a couple of games which they won against West Indies, lost to India. That means they have match practice in the middle, which is very important, whereas our boys, 2 washouts in 6 days. And they're coming back, and it all depends on before they play on Saturday, whether they could get some outdoor training as well. So there's nothing like training outdoors. I mean, I'm pretty sure that last few days they were training in the indoors. So I reckon going forward, as Ruwan correctly said, is nothing to lose. That's where when we are at our best. When we have nothing to lose, no fear of failure, we can go out there, play our own flair. I think if we, I always keep saying, if we have a good start to start with, I reckon we could, make an upset, especially at the Oval, because the wickets, if you've seen the previous games, more than 300 runs being scored so easily. So I think it all depends on how we start, and the next few days, if we could get some outdoor training because of the weather.
Well, I've been hearing that the weather has been contrasting in England. Whilst more towards London, it's been bright and sunny and beautiful, but towards the areas where Sri Lanka has been playing, particularly in Bristol, it's been raining cats and dogs, and as we call it, it's buckets in those areas. Anyway, just a question to both of you. Now, this is a 44-day or 45-day tournament, a lot of cricket, and 2 crews, television crews, and so much of facilities and convenience. What are your thoughts about a rain day? Don't you think that the ICC should have thought about it? Because so far we've had how many games washed off?
Yeah.
Sri Lanka have lost 2 actually. Yeah. South Africa lost 1 against the West Indies. We don't know how many more. So in that context, how practical, Ruwan, you played in a World Cup, Maha, you played in a World Cup, from a player's point of view, forget about the organizers, player's point of view, actually having that extra day in case of rain? What are your thoughts?
Definitely, I think they should have considered a reserve day for every game.
You think
because in between there are 4 or 5 days break, some of the games.
Yes.
They have considered the travelling part, not on the road.
You can fly, isn't it, in England?
Many
domestic airports.
They have. Yeah. But thing is, I think personally, I prefer they should have a reserve day, especially a World Cup once in 4 years. And some of the players, I don't think they might play again. They may be their last World Cup. So they prefer to have something, perform and to keep their name, and they want to give their best for the country when you represent World Cup.
Only reason I can think of, Roshan, is if you have a reserve day, and because as you correctly said, there are only 2 crews going around with the production. If you have an extra day, that means you're going to double the World Cup. That's going to be 88 days. So I reckon that's the only concern ICC
I
had.
don't think you will have an extra day for every game. Huh?
I mean, first, I mean, if I
I think it's
if
a
I
certain
think
part of UK that's causing this rain, not the entirety of UK.
pretty sure that, I mean, when it comes to weather in England, you could have
Unpredictable.
four seasons in one day.
It's
So I reckon only reason I can think of why they aren't having a extra day because of this.
Yeah.
But I'm with Ruwan again and with you as well. Extra day should have been there because personally playing in a World Cup, anyone's dream. And because of weather, if you don't play a game, that means you're losing a lot. And as Ruwan correct said, that's a lot of players last World Cup. So it's going to be dicey to see what's going to happen in future. And hopefully weather gods are not that smiling and we could get some play on Saturday.
Let's see. Now, you know what has happened to the points table with this weather that we are discussing. After 4 games, Sri Lanka, they won 1, lost 1, and they've got 2 no results, which means they've got 4 points in 4 matches. And now they are up against Australia, England, South Africa, West Indies, and India. Wow. Now, that's a really tough line of procession for Sri Lanka. Maybe South Africa, with that mentality they are in, might be a team that Sri Lanka will compete. But talk me through of Sri Lanka's game against England, India, and particularly Australia. You know, West Indies, again, I think is a hit or a miss. On their day, the West Indies can be good or bad. But talk us through those next 3 names that I spoke of. You know, you saw, I mean, India, awesome. England look awesome with their extra pace of Archer and Wood. Incidentally, this is the first time that England have had 2 such quick bowlers together. So these are all challenges. So let's ask the experts. Which one's going to
I'll
talk
choose
about?
India and England.
All right. So if you talk of Australia, let's start.
Yeah, I
with
think India and England, as you correct said, Roshan, I think they are well equipped. I think the entire squad looks brilliant, especially England. They bat deep down, and the bowling lineup, as you said, 2 145 plus fast bowlers. The batsmen, they only know to play attacking cricket, so ideally suited. And India, as we saw the last few games, the bowling has surprised me.
You know, just to stop you, I read an interesting point about Archer. You know, he says, I'm happy if I bowl at around 90 miles an hour.
Wow. I mean, the interesting part about him, this is not only about the bounce, he gets seam movement also. That's any batsman's nightmare.
And he's skinny, isn't he?
He's skinny, 90 plus, seaming. You know, it's not fun to face him.
Yeah.
And talk about India, same again. I mean, they will miss Shikhar Dhawan. I don't know whether he's going to be out of the World Cup, but looks like he's going to miss a chunk of it. So I reckon he'll be missed, but still they got the personnel to cover it. And overall, I think India and England, for me, stand out, Roshan.
Ruwan, Australia, what are your thoughts? Lost to India.
Lost to India, but I think the Australian team, if you look at in the past about 12 months and about last 6 months, they have played good cricket and beating India in India.
It was good.
Yeah, very good. And they have, I think, the more they play games, they are coming up really well. Even I think if you take South Africa, I don't know what's the game plan. I would say like some of the games, the teams that they pick and the ball combination that they use, I feel that there is an imbalance.
Is it an issue with regards to their policy of 5 or 6 coloured players? Is that the issue? Because I think personally, Ruwan, you will agree that Amla is struggling. I don't know how Amla is opening in that team. I suppose they are compelled to pick him. Is that a fair statement?
I think if I add one more thing, Ruwan, I think even A.B. de Villiers' comments would have distracted as well.
Yeah, where he wanted to come back.
He wanted to come back, which is, I think South African cricket board was spot on, not having him. I mean, if you go, you go. You can't come back.
Absolutely.
So I think that can be a distraction also.
Also, I think they have that rule, the coloured and the
5 or 6.
Yeah, five coloured, I think, in the playing 11. But they have relaxed that rule also. I don't know. It has appeared in the World Cup or one day format.
I think they have 5.
They have like from Test, one days and T20, and they have given a period of time. Like if you are playing a series of Test, one day and T20, they have a composition.
Right.
From that they can, because that is what Ortiz has suggested to the board, and they have taken up, right? I don't know the World Cup rules.
Right.
Maybe in ODI, the World Cup, they may be a different strategy. But also I think they're bringing in Amla. I think they have gone for the experience and the senior, and they have
But
trust.
will you play an experienced player who's struggling?
Still, I mean, when you look at the bench and the playing 11, still they have to believe in the.
They have no option.
Yeah, they have no option. They have to believe in the people who are in the squad and the playing 11. And the last day, they know that he will win again for them. So that is what we are looking. That is where I am looking at our team also.
Yeah.
We need match winners in the team.
True.
Who will be our match winners?
Now we had one match winner, Ruwan Pradeep. He is injured.
Yeah.
Now, how much of a concern will that be going into the Australian game? And also, Lasith Malinga, sadly, we sympathize with him for his loss or his mother-in-law's loss. So he's coming and going back. How focused will he be, and how much of an impact will these two issues be for Sri Lanka playing Australia?
Especially, I think we have to discuss one area, the first 10 overs, the wicket taking. If you if you take Australia and Indian game, they had 127 runs partnership, where Australian bowlers, we know that they have a good attack, they couldn't take wickets at the first 10 overs. So the people who bowl well in the first upfront, take wickets, they have always have a chance of. But I am very surprised the way the West Indies bowl against Australia have taken 5 wickets, and they couldn't, I mean, still they have went down to score more than 250 runs. That is where they lost the game. On our point of view, I think we have to look for match winners. Immaterial is the age that we have already picked the side. The venue we have to consider, and who will be that particular game, who will have the confidence level high. We have to pick them, and we have to trust him and go with them.
Right, that's the story so far, and time to find out how Mr. Damit Weerasinghe is faring in England. I know that it's been cold, it's been raining. Tell us, Damit, how do you feel, and tell us a little bit about what's happening in England.
Thanks, Roshan. Yes, absolutely a disappointing day. Another rain-infused match abandoned for Sri Lanka in this ICC Cricket World Cup. A very bad day for cricket. You won't be able to play cricket in this English weather. Sri Lanka now 4 points in 4 games, which is not the ideal situation if you want to play in the semi-finals. Sri Lanka will now play Australia after 11 days of no match cricket. That will be a concern for Sri Lanka heading into the tougher oppositions in Australia, England, India. They are pretty much the favourites to make the semi-finals. So if Sri Lanka to make the semi-finals, they will need to beat tougher oppositions in Australia, England and India. So Sri Lanka have 5 matches more that will be played probably in good weather. So stay tuned for more updates from me here in England as Sri Lanka heading to the business end of this ICC Cricket World Cup 2019.
Welcome back, and Sri Lanka will play Australia the next game at the Kennington Oval in London. That's where it is the home for Surrey Cricket Club. Lots of runs on that ground, and first and foremost, do you think Sri Lanka should go with the tried and tested 11, or do you see any changes that needs to be made? Do you think they should drop a quick bowler, bring in a spinner, or do a few changes? People are talking about Dhananjay Silva not getting amongst the runs. Then questions about Kusal Mendis, sadly though, he's too good a player, honestly, to fail. And then Suranga Lakmal's position, he's been questioned with Ruwan Pradeep putting his hands up. So where do we go? What are your thoughts? How should the Sri Lankan team be picked for Australia? You know the oval. Yeah. Generally, these pitches are good to bat.
Yeah, indeed. I think they will definitely stick into the winning team against Afghanistan, but fortunately, Ruwan Pradeep won't be there. So I reckon they might bring in Jeevan Mendis
wouldn't one be
Jeffrey.
fit for this game? I think he
I
was
doubt
going to
it,
miss
because
2 games, right?
They initially what they said was 2 games. So
Right.
if he's not fit enough, I reckon in his place Jeffrey Van der Sar should come in.
Not Mendes.
I mean, Jeevan Mendis for me is an all-rounder. I think we need a specialized spinner who could bowl 10 overs.
Okay.
You have number 6, you have Dhananjay Silva batting there. I think he'll keep his position.
Right.
Kusal Mendis will keep his position for one more game for sure.
Right.
But for Ruwan Pradeep's position, I think Jeffrey Van der Sar should come.
So
and
you,
also,
just to stop you there, Maha, so which means Sri Lanka will go with 5 bowlers. So you'll have Lasith Malinga, you'll have Isrudana, you'll have Suranga Lakmal,
Yeah,
then
Thisara
you'll
Perera.
have Van der Sar, you'll also have Thisara Perera. So out of that lot, we have 3 who are specialist bowlers, which means the batting lineup gets a little bit.
and I mean, if you look at it, Dhananjay Silva has been looked at as a specialized off spinner. So
Yeah.
you have to
But an
consider him
all-rounder.
all-rounder who can bowl 10 overs. So you can look at him at 10 overs.
No,
You
I'm
got
only
Lasith.
concerned about, for both of you, the length of the Sri Lankan batting or the length of the Sri Lankan tail. Because then 9, 10, 11 would virtually mean non-batting.
Jeffrey could definitely handle the bat, that's for sure. And also, if it's a shortened game, if it's a shortened game, I reckon they will consider bringing Avishka Fernando into the side, leaving out probably Thirimana
Yeah.
or Kusal Mendis.
No,
That's
it'll
an
be
option
Thirimana,
too.
I think.
I think I can probably Thirimana. So
Yeah.
lots of options are there, and all, as Ruwan said, it all depends on the day, the opponents, the grounds, the dimension of the boundary. Everything should be calculated.
Your thoughts, Ruwan?
I have a different view on this.
Good. We like to have
Yeah.
different ideas.
Mainly because Oval,
Yes.
we have played well there.
Yes.
And we won because of our batting, not because of our bowling. So Oval wicket generally a good surface for batsmen. And I would play an extra batsman because I believe the total, as I mentioned earlier, the previous also plus 300 Oval.
So who's the batsman you will pick? Is it Milinda that you're looking at?
I'm looking at Milinda because the surface is much better
Right.
and the ball comes to the bat really well.
Right.
So Milinda is a good
So
time.
Milinda in place of Jeffrey.
Definitely, yes.
So he will be the extra bowling option as well. So
Yeah.
you won't pick Jeevan.
I picked Jeevan instead of Dhananjay.
Right.
So then we have the batting
But
depth
then,
also.
then we have 2 bowlers. We'll have 2 bowlers who will turn in the same direction. You won't have someone who will go the other way. Is that all right? Because Milinda bowls left arm leg spin,
And got
Jeevan
Jeevan
bowls
Mendis
right arm
bowling.
leg spin.
Yeah.
Dhananjay will
but
turn
but
the other
totally
way.
different, no, Roshan. Like for, we have picked the squad. I don't think about the variation part.
But what about bowling to left-handers? I mean, I'm just throwing these questions
Yeah.
at you.
I reckon it's very important. If you take Usman Khawaja
Yeah.
for number 3 batsman, his records against off spin is not good. So you need to have, in my opinion, you need to have off spinner.
Off spinner.
Especially Dhananjay Silva, if you look at him in the past, he has bowled well. Forget about the World Cup, he hasn't come well so far. But I reckon in the South African series, he bowled really well. I think we should have.
I wish we could continue this. I like different thoughts coming in. I like to sort of get Farveez, Maharoof and Ruwan Kalpage going. And it both have very, very solid substance to back what they say. But entirely different thoughts. One wants to go with a left arm spin and a right arm leg spinner. Then, or an all-rounder, 2 all-rounders. Farveez, Maharoof preferring to go with the right arm leg spinner and Dhananjay de Silva. But as you know, we need to end this program because time is an issue for us. Just to remind you that the ThePapare.com special hub, that's the World Cup hub, which is www.thepapare.com/CWC19. You can visit it for exclusive and quality content of the World Cup and lot more. And also, I want to remind you that ThePapare.com is the only digital clip rights licensee for ICC in Sri Lanka. So don't miss it. Make sure that you visit the Papare website, visit the special page for the World Cup. Cricket lovers, you will have lots of information indeed, not just about this World Cup, but also about the history. Right, I need to ask you the question of the week because we're almost at the end of the program. This week's question is, which player scored a century in the group stage fixture between Sri Lanka and Australia, World Cup 2003? You would have been in that World Cup. Don't give the answer. But you would have been in 2000. You were not there? Jehan Mubarak was the one. Right, Mubarak was there in 2003. So which player scored a century against Australia in the group stage of that World Cup in 2003, which incidentally was held in South Africa? Now, last week, we asked you the question, how many matches have been played between Sri Lanka and Pakistan in World Cups? I can tell you that it's been 7 games, And the bad news is Sri Lanka have lost all 7 games. Were you part of any Pakistan fixture?
No, 2007 we didn't play against because Pakistan went out of the first round itself.
What about you? Did you play any Pakistan matches in the World Cup when you played?
No,
No.
not really.
So these two gentlemen are not responsible for that. They haven't played any game against Pakistan in the World Cup. And to let you know who the winner is, I must say, Nirmal Tennakoon. Congratulations on your answer. So that's the story on the World Cup special on Around the Wickets. Thank you for joining us. We will see you again very soon. Until then, it's goodbye.
Sri Lanka lose another wicket, and that brings the total to 98.
Let's get together and cheer our Lions to victory. Let's rally behind our team at the Cricket World Cup.
We want a
With Coca-Cola, the drink of togetherness.